Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. Well, I can hear myself twice. I know why it is so. Got rid of that one. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry we start a bit late today. You know, family duties as well. But what can I say? We got to come on and quickly even to do a 30 minutes as well. You know, Gary, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I had to do some family runs today. Wife went
Uh-huh.
away, went for a few days, so I was doing father sitting.
Hmm.
I was doing father sitting to the point that the school called me and said, "Mr. Sydial, you didn't give the daughter lunch." They eventually, but then they did it well. Was so busy. But hey, let's make it a very quick one today, Gary. How's your weekend? How's your weekend? You've been celebrating the kings and his coronation as well, I presume.
Well, not really. I sat back and watched a little bit of it, but I wasn't too over thrilled with it.
Mm.
But we had a good weekend, and the day and the week until today, Thursday, has been good. So I don't have anything to complain about.
So what do you say? You capitalize on the big lunch.
Well, it all depends on what you mean by capitalize on the big life. What big life you talking
Big
about?
lunch, big lunch, the big lunch, the big lunch,
The big
big lunch.
lunch.
We had a big lunch for my at my church. We had a big lunch as well.
Oh,
Capitalizing
we
on
didn't have anything.
capitalizing on the bank holiday. What I'm trying to say.
We didn't have anything.
And everything. But listen,
No.
um, what, the very interesting thing though about the what would you say was your take away from the whatever you saw of the coronation?
Well, I just enjoyed watching it.
Yes,
And enjoyed in the sense that in my lifetime I may not see another one. You
yes.
know, I may not. William may not take the throne in my lifetime. So
You mean Harry?
it was no man, William.
Okay,
William.
William. Yes, yes.
Um,
Can I?
it was a part. I was a part of history where that was concerned, really.
Yes,
So
yes.
I tried to take in as much as I could, but I didn't see all of it. I didn't
Mm,
sit down to watch all
yeah,
of it, but it was good to see that I could see history in the making.
yeah. I did. I don't know if it is your side, Gary, or so. Are you getting a feedback from your side? If not, maybe not, or maybe it's my side. But it's gone now. Can you hear a feedback or anything, Gary?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Yes. I took from it some very poignant um you know what should I say, historical bits, and that was when the Caribbean, the singers, the black singers were there. Uh, People saw also Rose Wilkinson or Wilkinson, and also Baroness Amos, different persons. But one of the feedback which was being seen a lot is people are calling them traitors for being there. If understanding the whole history and the African star, one of the big jewel that the king has in the crown. They say need to go back to Africa as well. So I believe it has what it has done. It has opened up the doorways again for major conversation about the slavery, reparation, and republic. It has brought it up into the fore of it at the same time. That is for black people, you know.
Hmm.
For,
Well,
uh,
the talk about black being traitors, or those who took part being traitors and such. I don't know much about that. Um, I would have thought, I would have thought that the other coronations, how many others that they
Mm,
were there black people involved? Even if it was one, were they there? Now, we will never be able to know. I mean, we'll never know. History probably does not record. And if history has recorded, then we
mm,
don't know anything about it. But I think sometimes where will all of this end, or when will it finish, Sylbourne?
yes.
Yeah, we're talking about sending the gem or the stone that's in the crown back to Africa. If it went back to Africa, where in Africa is it going to go?
Yeah.
Which country?
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about money being paid back to black people. There's no country on the planet, yes, that has the kind of money that's going to be paid back to every family. Because if you're talking about repatriation
Reparations.
or reparations, then every black man, I mean, literally, will have to receive money because of because they were affected. Their family members are affected. And what we got to remember this too, Stillborn. And I saw a program. I don't know if it, can't remember if it was on BBC or any of the independent stations. But
Mm,
I remember quite clearly in one of these historic programs that there are white people who had black families. So when you then began, well, I say that to say this: there was a black man, sorry, there was a white man
mm,
who could trace his family, and it wasn't too far removed either,
mm,
um, to a black man who was living in London. It could have been probably about 100 years ago or so, but living in London. Now,
yeah.
listen to me, Stewart. If
Yes.
we are going to be be giving out, if the government is going to be there giving out money to black people, there are some white people that's going to demand money also. Why? Because they've got a black father or a black grandmother or a black whatever down in history, and they'll be able to prove it. So you can't leave out that man. He's
Well,
got
well,
black.
you can go even further by saying that as I was speaking to an African brother, and he was talking about that the time when the whole slavery bit was going on, slavery was already happening in Africa. And it is like maybe the white man somehow learned a bit of it from Africa as well, because there are different tribes, and these different tribes
Exactly.
sold out that other people to slavery. So it's, in a way, they sold them as well. So there's a lot
And
of
and
sorry. Mhm.
and still the extreme end is also we've got some of our own black families, own black brothers and sisters whose grandparents were slave owners. So what are you going to say?
Mm.
uh, what are you going to say?
It's a big
What
thing,
are they
but
going to do?
but at the same time, California, California reparations panel recommends apology payments to Black Californians. So it's like a state is starting it. A
Oh
panel in
yes.
California, a panel in California created to consider reparations for Black residents voted to approve recommendations for the payment of reparation to Black Californians for injustice and discrimination stemming from slavery. So,
Right.
if you find that a lot of people are going to California, you know why? Are they going to prove, you know, uh, recommendation? And he said it will cost hundreds of billions. It goes further by saying California plans for reparation. What you need to know. First of its kind committee giving final approval to long list of proposals, including cash to descendants of enslaved people. California task force. So is just like how Mia Motley in uh Barbados of recent days was looking to see if she can actually go for reparation directly instead of from a policy angle from government to government or government to the king or the queen at that time. She's going for Mr. Drax who owned Draxol. Um, and they were very affluent and successful in the slave trade. So one has to maybe look a bit very ingenious and creative how they go about it. Just like how California a prototype of reparation? Could it be? Is it setting the
I don't
standard? You know, because
know.
at the end of the day, Gary, there's one thing which is amiss, and in South Africa when there was the apartheid, they went and they got deep. They got deep into this Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and they said, "Let's get to the bottom of it." Desmond Tutu and all of them, Bota, everybody got down and they apologized. One thing which hasn't happened in slavery, and what is just like with the Holocaust, is that there's not been an apology. We talk about this a lot, anyhow, still, because they recognize that if there's an apology, it's going to open the door for payments or some direct payments because of the wrong. Because right now, Germany is still paying, you know, for the whole aspect of the Holocaust.
Are they?
Oh yeah, yeah, they're still paying for the Holocaust. They still you know have to be, that is why they're under certain control where they don't do much when they come on to they call it weapons of destruction and everything. I think the recent thing that they did with with Ukraine was like something which they haven't done for a long time. You
Mm.
know, so I believe it is something that need to be which need to be actually, you know, considered as much as possible. And I believe that it is not going to go away. But I do know that what's his name said something recently. Kwame, remember Kwame and Liz Truss?
Yeah.
Yeah, what he's saying is that black people talk too much about slavery.
That's what he said.
Yeah, something to that effect. Something to that effect. There, you know.
Where is he now?
Mr. Damiard.
he was he the one that he was in the Conservative Party, wasn't he?
Oh, he's in conservative. He was the chancellor. He was the chancellor.
Oh, okay.
Remember Kwame, the chancellor.
Yeah, I was thinking of the other one,
Yeah.
the one that defected and went over to the Liberal Democrat.
Who that now? Who was that?
Yeah, man, he was. Remember, he had run for leadership.
Oh, are
Yeah,
you talking? You're not talking from the conservative. You're talking from the Labour
yeah.
Party.
No, 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 no. There was a conservative black guy. Is a well.
Oh, Sam Gima.
Is it him?
Sam Gima, the guy from Ghana. Yeah,
Okay, he was a minister, wasn't he?
I think he was a junior minister or something of that nature. Yeah.
Right, and he had put himself forward to run for the Conservative Party.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did that for profile. I would assume a lot of them did it for profile.
Well, we know he wouldn't have won anyway.
Yes, yes. So yeah, yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, the whole aspect of it is that it is something that needs to be looked at, and it has to be considered as much as possible, because the whole big thing about the king is that it opens up the debate for the whole argument for reparation. We're still on the reparation and the whole republic discussion, and republic has come up a lot now. After the coronation, there was came out with Australia, there was Belize, there's Grenada, wanting now to become a republic. Jamaica is on the quest for that. Lots of discussion, lots of groups are now forming to say they want to give their version of what it should be, not waiting for the government to give their version of to be. Mark Cameron in the States, Advocacy Network in Jamaica, from the UK here. I'm sort of having these different conversations about it. Hopefully on Sunday I should be having an interview with UIC Joseph Patterson from the United Independence Congress. That's the one of the third parties in Jamaica, to have a discussion because he has some views as to reparation. I think he has a function this Saturday in Leighton as well. And I'm supposed to be interviewing Matunda McCullough again, keeping the whole debate alive regarding republic. Because what we have to do is to ensure that any government also don't lead the way without the people next to them along the way, and that is something which is very important, as well. You know, and I don't think you can actually. Um, the Brits will never let go of the crown. You know that.
Well, probably you could put you in that. You'll never let go of the crown.
What? You mean Jesus?
You.
Jesus? You mean the crown of God?
Or put it this way,
Listen,
God is not going to let go of his crown anyway. So that's not that can't be included
listen,
in the argument here.
listen. When it comes on to Jamaica, I maintain my position that you cannot have yourself being an independent state and then you have a foreign uh, head of state. That's my view. Period on that. When it comes on to the UK, let them have what they want to have. Keep their king till thy kingdom come. You know, I'm not a Republican when it comes on to that. But when it comes on to Jamaica, when it comes on to independent countries, I do believe that they need to be independent. And independent means to say they stand on their own. Independent means to say that they um, have their final head of state their own and not a foreign state. Even though many people will argue and say that Jamaica is not ready for this. The question is, what do you mean by ready?
True.
Yeah.
True.
What do you mean by ready? And that's it. And just to let you know that there's a new plane which is formulating. It's called the North Atlantic Airways to offer daily flights from London Gatwick. You know about that, and Gary?
Uh,
Did you know about that? The new plane.
I was not really aware, I wasn't aware of a new service that's going to be flying from Gatwick to Jamaica. Is it Kingston or
Kingston
Montego Bay?
Montego Bay. Kingston Montego Bay. The new plane. It's North Tourism Ministry welcome low cost carrier North Atlantic Airways to the Caribbean. The announcement by the low cost Norwegian airline North Atlantic Airways, it will expand its service to the Caribbean to include, where is it? To include Jamaica this winter season. Um, Now should provide flights at reasonable price points that will certainly encourage more arrival to destination Jamaica, moving us closer to our target of 5 million annual visitors. Now, while the minister is more looking to his target, because he has his target for his tourism thing, what I'm looking at is it could be an alternative for Virgin and BA, and the way how they are being really hard on the prices. People who somehow have to go to Jamaica because of bereavement, they are talking about thousands, over
Yeah.
$1,000, but when they go to TU, they're getting 700. I'm gonna get Michael Mason on Saturday night, who we worked together on the exorbitant airfares, which we did some years ago, and he's gonna talk about some of the bits that one need to be wary of when it come on to these budget prices, because the budget price will say £500, but by the time you build it, it reaches to a higher level.
Right.
Yeah, you build what you call it? You build different things on it. You build dinner, you build baggages and everything, it goes up as well. So people need to be fully aware of that, and that is very interesting.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's a thing there. So yeah, so that's the thing, and one of the thing which came up as well this week is, and it's very important, and it's the reason why I coined this, now the king, um now the king, now the economy, now the king, now the economy. And one of the reasons why is because now we got a king, but the most important thing is that people are still struggling with cost of living. Now they're actually taking to task the governor or the bankers in the UK, because guess what? There, as the interest rate goes up, everything goes up, mortgage goes up, and everything. But the bank accounts are not being affected with savings, and that is one of the things which they're talking about as well. And the governor of the Bank of England is actually saying that there is a possibility. I believe that's what he was alluding to, that it could
Yeah.
increase again, and that
Yeah.
and that keep affecting people as much as possible. And one lady was actually saying she can understand it for persons who have two incomes coming in. What about those with one income? So one is not
Mm.
out of the woods yet with that. And I don't think people can still blame Ukraine and Russia anymore. That's a scapegoat. That's a cop out. Yeah,
True. That's true.
yeah. So that's how we see it. Yeah. Anyway, Gary, we said we're gonna wrap. We're gonna do a quick one today, just to show our face. Yeah.
That's okay, man. That's all right. At least you're on.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least you're on.
Yeah. Yeah. But definitely keeping the momentum on Saturday night regarding the Republic, and also the Caribbean, the new airline there, to let people understand more about it. The interview with Mr. Joseph Patterson and Matunda, those things will happening. What we want to do is get it into Westminster with a backdrop with Parliament, where the Constitution was more than likely drafted as well, and take it from there. So that's supposed to be very interesting, Gary. And
Yes.
just keeping
Yes.
that sort of momentum as much as possible. Jamaica's road to republic. All right. Okay. So,
Okay.
so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and thank you for bearing with us for the delay. And you can watch it on the replay. Those on Facebook, those on YouTube, and those on Instagram as well. And we back again over the week. And one of the topics that we also said we're going to talk about is black inventions. Black inventions as much as possible. We don't wait for Black History Month, but inventions which has been done by black people. That is something which is also crucial as well. And that is something that we're going to be talking about. All right. Okay. All right. Peace out.
All right then. So God bless. Take care.